Welcome and thank you for joining me for Watching Code Office Hours. This is session number 105. Just a quick announcements on kind of logistics if you're new to Office Hours. So the purpose of these sessions is to help you if you're stuck with anything related to watching code. So if you're going through Practical JavaScript or you're going through Premium and you're stuck with something and you've tried to figure out the solution, you can't figure it out, then you need to ask someone. And that's why we have the session. So you can ask me directly, get unstuck, and keep going. So a couple announcements before we start. One is join the Facebook group. So all the information, the document I have up here, if you're watching on YouTube, is linked right below the YouTube live stream. So you want to check that out. And you can find the link to join the Facebook group. That's where I post information about upcoming sessions and kind of random updates go there when there's new content and stuff like that. Second, if you do have a question and you want to ask, you have to call in. So you have to call into the Google Hangout. The link to do that is right here. And again, if you don't have this document open, it's linked below the YouTube live stream. In terms of kind of content updates from my side, I know last week I was aiming to release the next underscore video, but by today, it's a little bit delayed. I've been struggling to kind of context switch from Practical JavaScript to the more advanced content, and it's just taking me a little bit to warm up. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with the content right now. So I am anticipating for it to be out soon now that I kind of got the hang of it. And that's it. From now on, just open questions. So start with Andrew.
Sorry, Gordon. I just started what you tasked me to do, and so I don't have any legitimate questions at the moment, at least that would be thoroughly tested myself and thought out beforehand. Because, I'm supposed to put in the work before I ask a question, right? So nothing at the moment for that.
And how is so? I guess for people that are watching that don't know what you're talking about, so Andrew's going through some exercises that are related to the testing series in Premium, and so going through things like filter, map, reduce, working on testing, writing tests for those functions. Well, how is that process going so far?
I find it difficult.
What specifically?
So I guess even coming up with the test code itself. So I was trying to make prototypes, and I think I did actually manage to figure it out, but it was a struggle. But then I don't know, it seemed to make sense once I got it, and then I'm gonna go through multiple different versions of that prototype based off of the test requirements, like each way it could go, like you said. Like how in the videos you had just each prototype was just different by one thing, like one thing different. So I'm gonna do that. I was looking at some of the test cases and I'm like, how am I gonna figure that out and this and stuff? But anyways, I'm working on that. And when I look at the documentation, some stuff doesn't make sense to me whenever I do it, but I'm sure I'll figure that out.
I see.
Like the syntax thing. When I look at that, it's like, what? Anyways.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, just keep going with it, and then if you do get stuck with something and you're not able to figure out, then we should definitely take a look at that.
Okay.
All right. So Amir, are you there?
Yes, but dog. Sorry. How are you?
I'm good. Same old.
Good old same old Monday. I do have a question. It's something that's sort of like an offshoot from accounting JS. And in one, I think somewhere in one of the helper methods, you were or not you, but there was a part where it was looping through keys, like just keys in an object. And then there was like a nested if statement to look for if there were methods that were like for that particular object and not of the prototype. So has own property. I don't remember the method name. Does that sound familiar?
Vaguely.
Okay. So it would be like
I don't memorize. I don't have the code memorized.
Oh, sorry. All right. Basically, my question was I didn't know why when you iterate through keys in an object, why doesn't it? I wondered to myself, like, why doesn't it pick up the built-in methods? Because you can create a method on a prototype, and if you loop through the keys, keys in object, it'll like if you just console them to the log or whatever, it'll print them out. It'll show you what they are. But I was kind of curious, why doesn't it pick up the built-in methods? Why doesn't it do that?
Can you show me an example?
Yeah,
I don't quite follow.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Amir, can I ask a question for a second on
Yes.
this? Are you referring to when like these methods have it built into them? They already do it. They already have a loop that deals with something. So you're asking why it doesn't go through that?
Yeah, like if there's like for object, for methods on like, oh, I think I can rephrase it. So like for the default object prototype, why doesn't it pick up those methods?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it. So by it, are you saying? Can you go back to your code?
Oh, the loop, like just this basic for loop here.
Oh, so key and defs.
Yes.
That doesn't pick up prototype properties.
It does ones that you create, but not like the default built-in like methods. I was just curious.
Can you show me in code? Like actually show me in the console?
Sure.
Like loop over, I don't know, something that illustrates.
Okay. Maybe I'll do it from.
Or just do it from
from the console.
A blank console. Yeah. Can you go to about blank?
Yeah. There's no space.
Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yeah.
Command plus.
There you go.
2 more times.
2 more. How about
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry. So let's just say I have like, I don't know, we can just do string and then dot prototype type dot, wait, I'm sorry, object dot prototype dot. I mean, I know it's relatively like a benign kind of deal, but I was just curious, like toString or value of or has own property, like it doesn't pick those up, and I was just kind of like, why doesn't it do that? Like I said, I know.
Can you show me an example? Like actual? Can you show me an illustrate?
Okay, I'll just
write some code to illustrate.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to make sure I actually understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Wait, don't call it objects.
Or a new object.
Yeah, sure. Just to be safe.
Okay.
I don't remember any of the reserved keywords, but I try not to pick ones that could even remotely
mess with stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So we'll just do something silly. Let's just say I have that, and then let's just say I do like, let's say I name something silly right here. Like, I don't know.
Why are you adding something onto object prototype?
Because I just want to, well, just to show that if I iterate over new object, it's going to print name Amir and this, but it won't console log like the default built-in methods on the default object prototype.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I just, so if it, I don't know. Log. Oh, ridiculous. I do it wrong. Oh. So then if I just do 4.
Wait, so can you just type object prototype so I can look at it? So just people can see what it is right now. No, just object prototype and then hit enter.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
And then enter.
So and then expand that. Yeah. So you're basically saying when you for in, it will have Amir or whatever, and then it'll have hello, but it won't have like constructor has a property and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so anyway, can you run some code to show that?
Okay.
Just so for people watching that they can see what you mean.
Keys and new on it. Sorry, I'm doing it. I forgot something.
Can you do that on a separate line?
Do it the right way.
This is hard, very hard to read.
No problem.
And
that better?
For key and object.
Oh, correct. Right. Okay.
And then
Oh, oops.
Oh, you keep logging the keys. Yeah, that just doesn't. Yeah. So name and then wait, scroll back up. So name all the way up.
Oh.
Name and then hello. I see. Yeah, I guess. Well, what does the documentation say? I mean, that's just. I guess it's how it's designed. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually didn't really look.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
I find these questions curious. It's like, why is it like this?
Yes.
It's just that's how they designed it.
And I know it didn't have anything to do with like really your accounting JS. It was like I said, it was like a tangent question. So I don't know.
I think usually when you want to loop over keys, you can stop sharing or
okay.
So I think typically when you want to loop over keys of an object, you want to like Amir, just think about if you were trying to do that for some objects you're creating. To what most people would be interested in are the things that make your object unique, not the thing that like to loop over all the things that all objects share it strikes me as not the most useful thing. So that's probably why they designed it like that. If you read the specification in the documentation, you might get more insight into why the design is like that. But I'm just speculating. But if you want to have a more concrete answer, I check out the docs for iterating through keys. So that'll be somewhere in the object documentation. And then you could also check the key and object syntax in the ECMAScript specification as well to get more insight on that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact answer.
Okay. Sorry. So random. I guess I had one more question, but I think it is, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, it's another one of those like tangent questions. So maybe I'll just look more into it. Maybe I'll just look more into it then and see if I can find the answer.
What is it?
Well, it was also an accounting JS, and I think we were using not bind but call, and then I was looking at the spec for that, and then I realized like I've never really used a method that all the parameters were optional, and so it made me start thinking, like, because with call, like the first optional argument is I think it's this argument, and then I think if you don't use this as an argument, like how does it know that the ones that are like trailing that are not? I would think it would like mess up the whole order, or something. The fact that they're all optional parameters, because usually when we do parameters, it's like, there's two, and then
did you actually test your?
No.
So yeah, I think you should test it. I don't think it works the way you think it does.
But because because in accounting JS, the first argument passed in was not this argument. So that's how I kind of.
Can you show me?
Yes. Do you have my screen back?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Right here.
Context is this.
Right. Oh, okay. But we didn't use we didn't use context, but.
Well, so if you don't use context, then what's the value? So if you call
undefined, yeah,
you're passing an undefined.
But wait, there must be some reason. Like I would have noticed that. Wait, okay. So on the iterator. Oh, okay. So on. Wait a minute. Oh, map. Okay, wait. Let me just make sure. Can I just kind of look at map really quick?
No.
Please.
Sure. Now you can.
Or where it was called.
Why not just Control F and look for it?
I think it's in a few places. That's a good idea. Call the map. Okay. Oh, so right. Okay, this is why I thought of it. Because look, we're only passing in val. So when the iterator is called, the first argument that we're passing is val, which is not this. Yet, when we call this,
we'll look at.
I'm listening.
So go back to the top.
So the top.
Or the previous thing you're showing me,
okay.
Like how a map was called.
Where'd it go? Right here.
Okay, so the first thing is value, and value is, what is it?
What the heck is val? Wait.
Think about that before. Yeah. So anyway, so map is called with the first argument value, which can be an array, right? Or typically it would be an array, right? So that's why if that's why you see line 181, if value is an array, then
right.
So
so this is the element. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, you're just yeah.
Okay.
So that's the element.
Right.
This if you go back to the definition of map,
yes,
context is the third argument. It's undefined, right? Because we passed in val for objects, and then the iterator was our callback. We didn't use context. So you're mixing up the like function calls and stuff.
But no, but wait, because when this wait a minute. Because we're calling it with wait, what am I trying to say here? when we call iterator, I just had a brain freeze. Never mind.
So your question is, the iterator will be called each time with val,
right?
And so that's good to know. So let's go back to the map definition. Look at that.
Yeah.
So you want to look at how the iterator is called, right?
Right here.
That's only the fallback. There's no fallback. But
well, I'm assuming that. I'm assuming that. I know that like it's because actually when I was doing it, I was just doing this. So sorry, I'm ignoring that.
So when you call it like this,
yes.
In line 110, context will be undefined, which is, remember, call has a different function signature than iterator. And then object I will be val. It'll be the element.
Right.
It'll be the ith element.
Okay.
Right. So if you go through the debugger, you'll see this.
You know why? I just realized what my problem is because I keep coming straight to this and I'm ignoring this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're getting all the function calls mixed up.
I have no idea why I was doing that. Okay.
It's easy to mess up. So you have to have it very clear in your head.
Yeah. Okay.
If you realize like you're not able to follow, you have to go back a step and then reorient.
Yeah. That was silly. Thank you. And that's all I have.
Okay. Well, those are only 2 questions. You said you had 10.
Did I? Did I say that on air?
You had 10 or off there.
You said, what if? What if I had?
What if you had 10?
This is a fun hypothetical game.
So there are 11 viewers just watching. Maybe 10 now. As soon as I called out the 11 viewers, 1 left. 9 now. But if you guys are watching and you have a question, should call in. Because I think we'll probably, unless Andrew has a question or Amir comes up with another question, we might just end it soon.
Sorry, I have an endless number of them. I just can't word them at the moment.
Well, we can take a look at one of them. You want to just do that, Andrew? Just because we have this time.
Okay. Something. Well, this is gonna look really stupid. I'm sure. It's gonna look so bad. Okay. Something in the documentation has always kind of confused me, just because, and I'll show you. I'm sure it's so simple. It's just the way it does it. Where's the screen?
Yeah, share your screen.
When I see this right here.
Can you make it bigger?
Sorry. I see this here. Some of it makes sense. Just the way it is it messes with me. Like, that's your argument. So let's say you wanted to run filter on something, and then I know what a callback is and stuff, but an array. But the way it writes, it doesn't. To me, it just doesn't look like at all the way I've seen it in when we do it in our code. Or it could be just I'm not seeing something. Just
so the thing you need to keep in mind is, do you remember what the brackets mean?
These brackets here?
No, those are parentheses.
Or sorry, these?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are for arrays.
No, they're not. That's why it doesn't make sense to you.
Okay.
So I think I talked about this in Amir. Do you remember when I mentioned this? What the brackets mean in documentation?
Amir, yeah.
What are the brackets?
What do you mean? Like,
what does it mean?
It's optional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that make
Okay.
sense, Andrew? So,
Yeah.
But
so
accounting JS, they put them in literally in brackets, and it messed up our world. That was
So-
kind of like,
yeah, so you wanna make sure that you understand which brackets match up with each other. So, for example, there are a lot of brackets here. So,
Oh, wait,
let's
let
see.
me guess though. I think I may get it then. I hope, anyways. This one right here would go with this one at the end, and then this is inside of that, and then this is a separate one over here. No?
Wait, let me see. So when you match brackets, the easiest way to do it is so the first bracket matches. Oh, this is confusing. So let's start from the inside. So the bracket right before the comma. So start highlighting the bracket after index. I think that matches up with array. So what's that saying is that it's saying that that the array is optional third argument to the callback function.
Oh, okay.
And then if you look at the bracket after array and the bracket before index, that means those, this whole thing is optional. And then when you look at the bracket, yeah, that bracket and this arg is also optional. You don't have to pass that in.
Okay, that makes sense. Why would they do it like? Oh,
So yeah, this is why this documentation syntax is frankly kind of shitty. But but because this is hard to parse, like a machine could parse this very quickly, but it's hard. It's hard for anyone to parse this kind of syntax. I would, what I would like is to have optional values be, I don't know, like underlined or just say suffix with optional. that would be probably really straightforward. Like or a prefix with optional, like optional array, optional index, optional this arg. But it's just this convention that I think is in many languages that you just kind of have to live with. So for example, if you look at, so Andrew opened the documentation for like, I don't know, call, since Amir just was mentioning that. So yeah, call JavaScript. That would probably pull it up.
sorry. Just a second.
Oh, that's fine. You can leave it in English or Japanese. Oh, so it doesn't. Yeah, it's actually not. They're not consistent.
Wait,
well,
I can probably just click anyone, and there should be some in here, right? No.
try. Well. Technically, this is confusing because if you go up, on this page, like, where's the syntax? Scroll down to the syntax. So technically, this arg is not really optional because, well, yeah, I guess it is. It's not optional if you use arg1. Right, so if you want to have pass in arguments, you need to pass into this arg, even if it's undefined, because otherwise it's going to take arg1, because it just looks at the positions. So if you expect to, you can't pass an argument into the function as the first, in the first position. You have to put it in the second position. Let's look at maybe apply. I don't know. I haven't looked at the docs in a while. Okay, so here you have really confusing because you have an array that's in brackets, which is really confusing because beginners think it's an array, and especially because it says array, right?
Mm-hmm.
but what it's really saying is that you can call apply as func.apply this arg and close the parentheses. And you can leave out the args array. But I guess what they've decided is if args array depends on is positional, like it has to be the second argument, then they're not going to put this arg in brackets too. Does that make sense? So only things that are truly optional and they don't affect the position of other things will be in brackets. I think that's the just from observation, that's the convention that MDN is using.
Okay.
But the brackets have nothing to do with an array. It just means optional.
All right. No, that's excellent. Thank you. This is on air, and you explain it directly. I won't forget that. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a really good question because
Confuse that.
It's
like crazy.
It's really important to know that, right? And so, because otherwise, you can't read the documentation. Like,
well, I was looking at this originally. I'm like, do I make my function look like this?
No.
I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. This isn't at all what's in the videos. This is like messed up. But I don't know. Okay, thank you for answering that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right, Joseph. What's up? You're muted.
Questions?
Yeah, do you have a question?
A minor one, I guess.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm looking at starting the book club. And I saw, like, I've been through the PIN documentation in the book club.
Wait, can you hold this for off the air?
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah. Just because it affects such a small population of students that it'll confuse people, I think.
Or distract them.
Yeah, or distract them. Yeah. So Joe's basically asking about stuff that's like at the very, very end of the content, like after you finish everything. So it just has low applicability. But Joe, I'll take care of you once we go off air, which is going to be very soon.
All right, no problem.
Yeah. So Amir Luke in the chat had a comment that's kind of relevant to you, but certain properties are enumerable, which means like you can in loop over them. I think that's what enumerable means. I don't know what the dictionary definition is. Enumerable. Well, anyways, we can look it up later. I don't know what the dictionary definition of enumerable is, but if a property is enumerable, then you can for and over it. Luke, is that right? Is that what you're trying to say? Luke's in the chat. I don't know if he's gonna respond in real time. Yeah, I'll share my screen and take a look at it. It's not super important, but yeah, Luke said yep. So what does this do? I don't remember what it does. Indicating whether it's enumerable, which means they don't explain what it is. Oh yeah, basically, if you can for and over it, that means enumerable.
Hello.
Yep.
Hi.
Were you not there for what we were just talking about? Or you're muted again.
Muted.
Okay. Well, anyway, we can talk about it off there. We're just talking about enumerability, which basically means can you for and over it, and certain properties you can't for and over it. So I think what Luke is trying to say is the native methods on objects and arrays and stuff, they're set to be not enumerable, which means like they purposely cannot be for in looped over. So So when you define a property, you can actually define whether it's enumerable. You can set it. There's a specific way to do it. It's pretty uncommon. I don't do it enough to know what the syntax is, but I've seen it before. And
Sorry.
yeah, so you can just force a property to not show up in a for in loop. And I believe you'll have to check the documentation or the ECMAScript spec to be absolutely sure. I haven't done that, but it's likely they just, the native methods are just set to be non-enumerable.
That's neat.
Maybe Luke will know more information. Luke seems to know more about it than me, so good. Ping Luke. Okay, cool. All right, so I will go off the air since it looks like all the questions have been addressed. Luke, thanks for the tip. I think I learned something. Yeah, we'll go off the air. So if you're new and you're watching, you're one of the 10 that are still there. So we're gonna go off the air since all the questions are done, and then we'll hang out in this chat, not recorded, for I don't know 20 minutes or so. So if you want to join that, it'll just be a casual conversation about probably Amir's life and Joe's life and Andrew's life, then please join us for that. You just have to call in. That's it. So yeah, if you're gonna join that, do it now before we leave. And if you're not gonna join us for that, then thanks for watching Office Hours. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feedback for me, you can email me, gordon@watchandcode.com. I'll be happy to talk to you there. All right, thank you everyone, and have a good night.